Welcome back yet again to another edition of the Bibbs Corner podcast. I am your host, Mike Bibbins, on Twitter at Bibbs Corner or at Bibbs Film for just the movie stuff. And I'm joined today by Tyler Lennon at Tyler_Lennon, and that's N-N-O-N. We're here to talk about Nope. Tyler, how you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. You know, we're talking about a horror movie because I'm here. If I'm here, that means we're probably talking about a horror movie. I feel like I've kind of accidentally painted myself into that corner, but I'm cool with it. Obviously, love horror movies and everything, so I'm cool with being the horror movie guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. I know I had you on here for the first episode of this season, which was Scream. Brought you in for the Batman as well. That was a panel we did. And then I definitely wanted to try to get you in for the Black Phone, but I ended up doing that with Reese because I think you just saw it like last week or something.
Yeah, I hadn't even seen it by the time that y'all did. That was a rare instance in which I was slow on like a big horror movie.
And last week I did finally get somebody that wasn't you, Reese, or Shad on here. Nice. For the Miss Marvel review. I got my man Saib on here. And he was able to add some like context for the Pakistani Muslim side of things. So that was pretty interesting. That was a good conversation.
That's dope.
But that was a fun review. That was last week. If you have not checked it out, definitely do so. If this is your first time here, all the reviews we do have a non-spoiler section and a spoiler section. So even if you haven't watched the property, if you're not sure, if you're on the fence, definitely go back and listen to the non-spoiler section of any of those reviews. And hopefully we're doing more lately. I finished school a couple months ago. I'm starting to settle into my schedule, so I should be able to knock out more of these reviews. But again, we're here for Nope. Jordan Peele, third round on the horror thing. Is he the king of horror, the new era king of horror? Is him and Ari Aster going for it all? I think we might have had this conversation of like you can't really judge yet till you get that third movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Where you're going, I think so. We got that third movie, so I mean, right off the bat, I'm just gonna ask you like, how are we feeling overall about the Jordan Peele, where he stands as a horror director?
Yeah, I think as far as the new age stuff goes, like you said, him, Ari Aster, I would also throw Robert Eggers into that mix, but I don't think his movies have quite the same popularity, but he's also in that same situation as The Witch and The Lighthouse. So I think unless I'm missing one, we're waiting on that third one. Or no, it was The Northman. Did he already do that?
I was about to say, I think he did he did The Lighthouse too.
Yeah, so he's already got his three, but
Northman, those are the big three.
Yeah, so I think, to me, it's those three. I think we have a big three right now, and I think it's cool because they each bring something very like unique and specific. I think you almost don't have to rank them just because it's different enough, but like for me, it is for sure those three. I obviously have like some favorites, like Ty West is a big favorite of mine, but I think Jordan Peele, unless he just absolutely blew this, I think he was going to remain in that conversation. And I think he had nothing but like, I think this was a win-win situation for him. He could kind of clearly take that throne. And like, I'm seeing tweets from like film Twitter was making fun of these type of tweets, but someone had tweeted something along the lines of, has any horror director in the history of film had three movies as good as Jordan Peele's three, and these are his first three? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, maybe like Alfred Hitchcock. Like, I don't know that he's the only one ever, but I get what you're saying. Like, you know, a younger kid tweeting that, like, I get it. But nah, I think he's definitely at the top right now.
No, I think I wasn't worried. Again, I if you know me, if you listen to any of these reviews, you know I avoid trailers. So I didn't know much about what this was going to be about at all. I came very close to accidentally seeing too much a few times, running out of theaters or putting headphones in or whatever, but I didn't know what to expect. So I came in with no expectations except to have a good time, to be misled at some point, and to get a story that's probably going to be pretty unique. And I think I got that here.
I saw you tweeted, I don't remember what movie it was, but I saw you tweeted like a week ago that you had to like legit run out of a theater to not catch the trailer.
Yeah, I think, was it in Thor? Would have been. It might have been during Thor. I was like, "Are you serious?" I wasn't expecting to see the trailer. I like sat down and immediately the trailer started playing. I was like, "Nope, let me get up out of here." Like literally, I said, "Nope,"
Nope.
and left. But yeah, I think I told you as well that when I saw it Thursday night for the first time. I saw it again this morning, Saturday morning. And I wasn't gonna bring it up, but there was a lot going on in the theater Thursday night. I don't know if you saw that for me.
I didn't see that. No.
Okay, there were some teenagers in there.
Gotcha.
Like a lot of them. I'm pretty sure there's some twerking going on.
Oh, God.
Like bottles to the head going on. I was like, what
Oh, so you had a lot going on for real.
Yeah, there was like, they were talking like super loud over the movie. I was like, first they were up in the back with me, and I was like, I'm gonna have to say something to these kids. But then I guess they realized there were people back there, so then they went down to the very front. And it's like one of the special theaters, so there's like a lot of space down on the floor in the front.
Right.
That's where they were getting busy or whatever. Like I don't know what the hell they were shooting a music video or some shit. Maybe, I have no idea.
Dude, it's funny. I know we're getting old because I had like, obviously I didn't have this, experience in the theater, but me and my buddy were on our way to the movie, and I was like, dude, a movie like this, it's big. Everyone and their dog's gonna go see it. Like, it's opening night, because I also went on Thursday night. I was like, I just know it's gonna be some kids talking or something. And he was like, one, you and I talk, we whisper to each other, but we talk throughout the movie. And two, I know you're not like these damn kids talking through the movie. I'm like, I guess I am that guy. That's my fault.
But whispering is fine. Like if I hear you're trying to not be loud as fuck, that's fine. But these kids were like trying to be heard, and that was pissing me off. Like I could tell some of them were trying to watch the movie, but other ones were like throwing it back, and like it was wild. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Shooting a music video during Nope, that on opening night, that might be a flex. I don't know what the kids are like, doing nowadays, but that might be a flex.
I might have to like look for the video on Instagram.
Right.
Or something. I might be in the background. I might need to sue. We'll see.
Might get a credit.
There you go.
Got to add that to the IMDb.
That's right. But anyway, so I was a little bit distracted. They were talking over some parts that were like kind of quiet and stuff like that. So I did catch some more things the second time around. But after the first viewing, I wasn't sure how I felt about the movie, like where I was going to rank it, all that good stuff. And I wasn't sure if it was because I was distracted or because, I had just seen it for the first time and there might be some more to catch. Like I said, the second time I did catch more of the story. I did notice like some foreshadowing that was very strongly established. We'll get into the details on that in the spoiler section. But I will say after the second viewing, I definitely enjoyed the movie for sure. It's not one that I would tell somebody to not see. Like there's no type of movie fan that I would say, this probably isn't for you. I think this is a movie anybody could enjoy, and some people may expect something different or more. Okay, folks. So during the non-spoiler section of the podcast, I said some things that I probably shouldn't have said. So I went ahead and cut it out. You're going to hear me in a couple seconds say that I'm going to cut it out. But I'm going to add that portion to the end of the podcast after the outro music. So if you want to hear what I slipped up and said, definitely stay for that little piece after the outro music. All right, enjoy.
What I will say, and I should have said this when we were talking about Jordan Peele specifically, but I think he is such a rarity in the sense that he is one of the few horror or genre directors that transcends the genre. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think of any big horror movie this year. Nope is by far, I think, the biggest or the one with the most excitement. But even if you took like A Black Phone, I mean, how many people that aren't horror fans are going to see The Black Phone? Even a movie like Halloween, that's a huge franchise that's been around for 40 years. Yeah, you might get more than the average horror fan or whatever, but like not really. Whereas with Nope, people that don't care anything about horror are probably still going to go see this movie.
No, it makes sense. And I just realized I said a word that I don't know if I should have said or not. Does the trailer make it clear what's going on in that sense?
So when you said it, I don't know if you saw my face. I was just like, okay, I didn't know. I think
okay,
it does. I think you're fine.
I'm going to edit it out.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it's a movie that it can fall in within a certain class, but it doesn't do the things that movie of that class usually do in a lot of ways.
Right. There's something I'm trying to say. This is a very, like, usually we can talk a little bit, but before the spoiler section, I'm trying to do my best, but I feel like everything I'm wanting to say is like, that's not giving anything away, but I also don't, you know what I mean?
I might take that whole section out because even the mentioning of the other movie is like too far.
That's fair. That's fair.
What I'll say is if you're expecting a ton of action, it gives you a good bit of action. It doesn't waste any time getting you thinking about what's going on. It doesn't take a bunch of time to establish who the characters are, the players. And for the most part, you're just trying to figure out how or who's going to survive this situation.
Right. To your point, I think it paces itself really well. Like you said, I mean, it doesn't really waste any time. And with a movie of its length, I believe it's like 2:15, something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the perfect level of, like, depending on how you go about this, there might be times that feels like it's dragging or there's just too much going on. It's hard to like find that in between ground. And I feel like it found the in between ground. I don't feel like I ever at any point was like, why is so much happening in this movie? Or like, there's not enough happening.
Yeah. I think the pacing was, dare I say, perfect almost. Like
it might be. Yeah.
You said it's slightly over 2 hours. It didn't feel like it at all. For me, I think you're sucked into it immediately. Pun, you know what?
2:11, by the way, it was 2:11.
Was it 2:11? Okay,
yeah.
But yeah, you're drawn in immediately. You get enough info on the characters. You get enough idea what their personalities are without it being forced. Like it's natural. It doesn't jump around a lot. They get straight to the things that matter. Even when other people are introduced, you get maybe a little bit of background or you get a little bit of like a scene that kind of gives you their personality, but doesn't meander, doesn't waste. Like I said, I don't feel like there's any wasted time. Like even in the scenes where they're trying to manipulate you or play with you a little bit, things are happening like at all moments. Like there's not a lot of standing around or anything like that.
I will say something that we can for sure talk about during the non-spoiler, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. If this is something you were saving for later, just let me know and we'll save it. But maybe, and again, I've only seen it the once, and you and I were texting the very next day, and we had kind of agreed like this is probably going to require a second or a third viewing or whatever, and I still haven't gotten to have that, obviously. But maybe my favorite part of the entire movie, or if not favorite, maybe the best part of the entire movie to me was the acting. Specifically, I think the relationship between Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya, I thought they were amazing. And I think also Jordan Peele is very much an actor's director in the sense that, well, he was an actor and everything, but I think he does a really good job of kind of letting the actors do their thing with the character, kind of take it the direction they want to. I thought all of that was great. Even, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I might have Stephen Wynn. How do we say his name?
I think it's Yoon.
Yoon. Okay. Yoon. Either way, he was incredible, which I love him a lot. He was obviously Walking Dead. He was in a movie called Mayhem, which I love. I like him a lot as an actor, but I thought they were great. I thought, like I said, the relationships between the characters was great. That may have been, to me, the best part of all of it.
No, and I actually, before we started recording, I like made a note to mention the acting at some point during the review because I didn't want that to slip by me. But yeah, I think Daniel Kaluuya, I'm starting to notice a little bit of a pattern with his characters, and especially like because I know he's not American, and like his American accent's starting to run together.
I've noticed that, yeah,
for me. But I even with that, I felt like the relationship, like you said, between he and Keke Palmer was well played. Like it kind of reminded me almost of me and my sister. Like,
which I will say we should know these are also two of the best actors in the world right now. You know, Daniel Kaluuya, I think, is on a lot of people's lists, and I think Keke Palmer doesn't get near enough credit. I think people I hear a lot of, I love Keke Palmer as a person, and like don't really talk a ton about her career. Whereas I also love the hell out of Keke Palmer. Anytime I see her in an interview or whatever, she's hilarious. She's awesome. Love her to death. But like we shouldn't forget these are two of the best actors around right now.
And you mentioning that kind of made me think like, I remember like a few years ago when people were finally starting to pay attention to Regina King.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was like one of those things where she's been so prolific in her career, she's done so many different things. Like it's crazy that people were just realizing how good she was like a couple years ago. And I don't want to say Keke Palmer is necessarily going to be that, but I could see something like that starting to happen with her, where people realize like, wait a minute, she's done a lot of stuff and she's been good the entire time. Like I can't think of a bad performance from her at all.
I might be overstepping, but I feel like that is happening. I feel like it's kind of already happened and we're watching it happen right now. Maybe not on the same level like you're saying, but I think that is kind of what's happening.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I felt like they played off each other well. Their personalities were very different, but you could tell the love was there. Like even the jokes they made with each other were very cool. Every character that they brought in added something to the movie.
Right.
It's a pretty small cast when you consider like the main players, but every single character brought something to the table. And
which even the father, who we see very little of, maybe I'm overstepping right now, or maybe I'm like overdoing it. But even the father, who's not in the movie that much, right. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I apologize, but it just doesn't have a ton of screen time, is what I should have said. But his presence, I feel like, is still felt, because if nothing else, you see how it affects the entire relationship of this family and how they play off of each other and everything. So
exactly,
I feel like even the characters that maybe not have as much screen time as those two are still like contributing to the movie.
Right. Like again, no wasted, no fat on this movie. Like everything matters. Everything adds to it. It's not to the degree of a Get Out, where like every single second, every word like went towards the story, like had double and triple meanings and all that good stuff. Like it's not that deep, which I think worked against Jordan Peele with Us. Like people were expecting another Get Out, but I think some of that has started to wear off for this one. Like I think people have calmed down on the expecting him to just blow you away with one of the greatest movies easily of our generation, and like in the Pantheon top 100, top 50, who knows? Like
right.
It's worthy of being in those discussions. I don't think you need to be on that level to have a really good movie, and I think he's in his pocket with this one.
I agree. I was reading an article. I don't remember who it was. I was going to try to credit, but they said something along the lines of like, this is Jordan Peele at his most like comfortable and natural. And like, I agree. I think you kind of see him like, I don't have anything to prove. I'm going to make the movie that I want to make and make it how I want to make it. And I think like that comes across.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the entire time we've been sitting here talking, I've been thinking like, I want to do a synopsis, but then it's like, what kind of synopsis can I give for this movie that's not going to give it away? I already have to edit out some stuff that I said by accident. So what I'll say is this: from the teaser I saw, they tell you that Daniel Kaluuya's family is the descendants of the first man who was filmed for a motion picture. It was a series of pictures put together to create a motion picture. They're the descendants of the jockey that was on the horse in that 2-second clip. And basically they're running a horse farm that uses that sells or rents their horses out for entertainment purposes. And they're trying to keep it alive. Basically, they're trying to keep the ranch or what have you going. And in the midst of that, some weird things start occurring. This next part is where I get tricky on whether or not I should say it, but essentially, let me see here. You know what? I'm not even going to say too much more. I'm going to read the synopsis that they have on IMDb.
I was literally about to say I have Rotten Tomatoes pulled up. If you either like, yeah, I think just go with that. That's as safe as you can be. If they put it on that, then what I mean? Whatever they put is fine. I feel like
whatever they said here is as much as they probably want people to know. So the residents of a lonely gulch in inland California bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. So yeah, the second one says a lot more, but I'm not getting into that. So essentially, they're on this ranch. They notice some weird stuff happening, and they have to figure out how they're going to deal with it. And that's essentially the rest of the movie. It's very simple premise, but it gets into some very complex thoughts and ideas once you start realizing what's occurring. So I think that's enough on that portion of it. Is there anything we need to hit before we do like some ratings and start getting into the spoilers? So I feel like I'm dancing.
I don't think so. The last thing I would say is, and you kind of already touched on this, but before we get into spoilers, just you don't have to give a rating or a review, but would you recommend, a would you? Because I feel like, again, you kind of touched on that already. There's no one that you would tell not to go see it, but I would say if you were on the fence even about it, like I would say to probably still go see it if you get the chance.
Yeah, if you are into suspense, watch it. It's not as, I'll say, scary as Us, maybe.
I think it's the least scary of the three. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a scary movie. It's more of a suspense thing. There is some crazy stuff that happens in the movie, but it's not graphic. And keep an open mind is the last thing I'll say there. I'm probably going to give it somewhere in the 3.5, 4 range, maybe. I'm leaning towards the 4 after the second watch. Because again, it didn't blow me away in a sense, but it was a very good movie. It was a very good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. For me, I'm right there with you. I go 1 to 10, and I think I said the other day I'm somewhere at a 7, 7.5, which to me is the 3.5, 4 that you're talking about. So I think we kind of landed exactly on the same page about it. By the end of this, once we've talked spoilers and everything, I might could get as high as like an 8, but I think I'm in that range.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to edit a lot of what I just said out. So we'll see how this ends up coming out on the non-spoiler section. But again, I can't, if you're listening to this, that means you're considering watching, go ahead and watch it. Like there's no reason not to watch it as far as I could. Like, again, like with X, I told you there's some stuff you might, or if you asked me, I should say, I told you there's some certain things that you might not be on board for. It's very bloody, very graphic. I saw some people say they didn't like the amount of sex scenes that were in it. So those type of things are going to chase people away. There's nothing in Nope that's going to chase people away. In my opinion. Like if you've watched a horror movie ever, you're not against any type of things that are going to make you slightly uncomfortable for moments of a movie, then by all means you can watch Nope.
I agree 100%.
All right, let's get to these spoilers. I'm tired of dancing. We'll take a quick pause just so I know where to edit this, and then we'll get into it.
Sorry if I made your job harder at all. I apologize.
No, I'm the one that messed up, so it is what it is. All right, let's get to these spoilers. So first thing I'm going to ask you, did you watch the trailers?
Yeah, so you and I just like, we agree on a lot of stuff. We couldn't be more opposite on this. I'm always the I want to watch all 3 different trailers that they drop kind of guy. Don't get me wrong, with a movie like Nope, I do. I was kind of in between. I was like, I do want to watch whatever they put out, but I also want to know as little as possible going into it. But as far as I know, I had seen everything there was to see. And I was even watching like Daniel Kaluuya was on Hot Ones this week, which I know they're not going to spoil anything. So like I watched that. Him and Keke had done some stuff together. I kind of watched that and I was like, hopefully they don't say anything. And for the most part, I don't feel like they did. But yeah, I was, whatever I could consume beforehand, I was trying to do so.
So the last trailer, I saw like the first couple seconds of it. And I was like, I feel like they've already told me too much or showed me too much. And Reese had said that when he saw it, he felt like they showed him too much. Did you, after watching the movie, do you feel like that the last trailer kind of showed too much?
Maybe a little bit, but here's the thing that I didn't realize until one of my buddies pointed it out to me recently. Jordan Peele is actually the worst of anyone when it comes to this. Go back and watch the Get Out trailer. Go back and watch the Us trailer. Like he kind of is like, hey, this is what we're about to do. Like, and like I think we like, oh no, that can't be that. That's going to be, you know, and you're trying to like figure out what it's actually going to be, and then you're like, oh no, that's what it was, I guess, huh? And I feel like he may have given us too much, maybe.
Okay. I feel like with Get Out, he intentionally misled us. Because I feel like what I got from Get Out after the twist in Get Out, like once the big reveal happens, like when he's coming down the steps and asking for the keys and all that, and you realize what's going on, I feel like he misled us into thinking the first thing, like we knew the first part with the body switching or whatever, but we didn't realize exactly how deep it went.
Right. Which I was watching. I'm a big like Watch Mojo, Watch Culture. I love those channels. I don't know if y'all have watched any of that, but it's every day. It's just a different top 10 and they get real specific. But one recently was top 10 horror movies in which the trailer gave away too much. And like the number 3 movie on the list was Get Out. And I was like, really? And I went back but like you're saying, they did let us, like, you see a lot of them in surgical gear. You see that kind of stuff. So like, something's happening along those lines. But like you said, you don't know how deep it goes.
Right. Like, I think we assumed they were controlling their minds in some way, but we didn't realize they were like body snatching. Like, we didn't realize it was going
right.
And again, trying to think, was Get Out the movie that made me stop watching I don't remember where it went, but I just knew that I didn't want to create any expectations by watching trailers, and it's worked for me for the most part. For this one, I'm gonna say I think going in with a blank slate was probably the best, but it's like making me rack my brain more to decide how I feel about it after the fact.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I think it is one of those again where it's like he's not giving away everything by any means, but he is giving you a decent amount, So
at least I think let you know what you're getting into, basically.
Which maybe, I mean, obviously that is his strategy. I was gonna say maybe that's his strategy. 100% is his strategy, but
yeah, and I can say, like, just based on the conversation we had in the non-spoiler section, which I accidentally said more than I probably should have. I don't know how you advertise this movie without.
That is true. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, to your point, I don't even know what you could have done differently, or like what is it that you're going to show? Because even like scenes I can think of that you may have put in there, like it is implying something.
Exactly. Like there's not a lot of like actual footage you could put in a trailer that isn't going to at least let somebody halfway figure it out. With that said, it's Jordan Peele. Maybe you didn't need to do too much. Like, just say, go watch this Jordan Peele.
It's Jordan Peele. Come watch the movie. Now I have to ask you, we are in the spoiler section, right?
Yeah, we are.
So, movie opens. What's your thoughts?
So,
the quote unquote cold open, I guess we'll call it. Is that a cold open? Kind of
the monkey thing.
Yeah,
we can call it a cold open because we didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was confused. I had no idea what this was supposed to mean, what this was supposed to symbolize. I still don't 100% get it. But
I wanted to talk to you about that at some point. Before we're done, I do want to talk to you about that a little bit.
Okay, so the first thing, initially, I wasn't sure the movie had started because, his production company is Monkey Paw Productions.
Right. I had the exact same moment. I was like, wait, he's Monkey Paw Productions. Is this like a extended, like,
that's all I was like, is this like a real detailed, like, introduction card? Like, what is happening?
Which I think before that we get the Bible verse or whatever. Do we get it before or after? I don't remember. But
somebody was talking. Verse. Yeah, somebody was talking in the beginning. I can't remember what was like. I was late to this second showing, later than I planned to be, but yeah, there was definitely something happening before that, and then it opens on. I came in during the monkey scene this time, and then it goes to like the little tunnel thing, which we find out later that's the inside of this being. And then like the horse, like the jockey running on the thing in the beginning. So, but yeah, when it first came up, I had no idea what I was looking at. And then I was just, after I realized this was part of the movie, I was like, wonder what that's about. What were your thoughts other than what you just said?
Yeah, I legit I don't use this phrase very often because I feel like it doesn't really happen in real life, but people talk about like a jaw dropping moment. Like I was sitting there with my jaw dropped, looking at my buddy, like, what is happening right now? What does any of this mean? What's going on? Why is this? How is this related to the story at all? I don't understand. It threw me off for sure.
Yeah, definitely threw me off. It was probably the most graphic thing that we get in the movie.
Yeah, so that or when we come back to it later. I mean, it's those two main scenes are for sure. I think there's one other scene later, but that's just blood and stuff. It's not like
Well, let's focus on this monkey thing. So. Do you have any thoughts about what the monkey was about, or do you want to save that for later?
It's obviously the spoiler. I can get into it, I guess. Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
My biggest takeaway, and like maybe I'm seeing this entirely wrong, but to me, there's only really two connections that I can think of that it has to do with this story. One of it is tied directly to Stephen. Again, one more time, help me here.
You?
Yes, I thought maybe the reason why he does what he does later in the movie is because he ends up surviving this moment, and I think he thinks maybe he has a relation to other creatures and stuff like that he's going to make it out of. That was one thing I thought after the movie.
I literally had that thought as you started talking, like, because I remember at the end of the movie, Daniel Kaluuya says that what was his name? Jupe was Stephen Yeun's character. He was like, Jupe made the mistake of thinking he could tame it. And then that kind of ties into him being the one person the monkey didn't attack on the set. So basically, if we're going back, we're in the spoilers. I'll explain a little bit. But basically, Stephen Yeun's character was a child actor who was on a show which looked like the set of Horsing Around. If you're a BoJack Horseman fan,
I'm not, but I'm sure your listeners are.
Like one of those 90s shows,
right?
And they had a chimpanzee who everybody was buying gifts for, and some balloons go up, and then one of them pops, and the monkey just loses it and attacks everybody. But it didn't attack him, and it actually came up to him to like give him a fist bump at the end. Now, the second time I watched it, I was paying attention. It felt like one balloon pop, monkey went crazy. Second balloon pop, monkey calmed down. Third balloon pop, monkey crazy again. Fourth balloon pop, monkey calmed down at the end, and then he gets shot.
You're right, because there is that final balloon pop.
Yeah, and he's like sitting there, like looking like he was confused, like he didn't, like he might have just been activated by the pops or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Like you said, that's probably something you catch on like a second viewing.
Yeah, because I was trying to understand. They mentioned, Stephen Yeun mentioned on when he was explaining that story to Keke Palmer's character and Daniel Kaluuya, that SNL did a skit based on what happened, and in the skit the monkey went crazy whenever the jungle was mentioned or something like that. So I was trying to figure out if that had meant anything, but then when they went back to the scene, you see the full scene of what happened with the monkey or the chimpanzee. I don't know why I'm acting like there's chimpanzees listening. They're going to get offended because I'm calling them monkeys, but they identify as chimpanzees. I'm going to call them
right. Yeah, for sure.
But I felt like the pop sound could have sounded like, the dart that maybe shot the monkey when they kidnapped him or something like that, and maybe that's what triggered him.
Maybe.
But yeah, it felt like after the last pop, he like sat and then he like nudged the girl that he just beat the crap out of.
Right. He wasn't still like attacking the body or anything. He was like nudging it, like, "Hey, right. What's up? Are you good?" Or like
exactly. And then he just looked like flustered, and like rubs his head. He signs something, and I haven't like looked into like see if I'm sure somebody somewhere says that the monkey signed something in particular.
Probably.
But then he like comes over to do his little fist bump with Stephen Yeun's character, which was like a signature thing that they did in the show, the first exploding fist bump, as Stephen Yeun said.
Right.
Which goes to your point of him feeling like he has some type of special connection with creatures, if you will.
My only other takeaway from that, and this is a movie that I very much feel like you can kind of look at one of two ways. You can either look at it for just like what it is. And I think a lot of moviegoers who don't put a lot of thought into stuff probably will do that. And you can probably enjoy it just on like face value or whatever. But okay. I think also it's a movie that there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of messages. And I feel like if we're going to view it from that sense, I kind of looked at that moment as you have people in Hollywood, you're taking all this shit, and then you just have that kind of snap moment. You're putting all this on someone, you're putting all this pressure on them, you're not valuing them correctly, and then like you have a moment where it just snaps, and then you know what I mean?
Okay.
And maybe that's me over analyzing. Sometimes I think you look for a movie that's like, oh, everything has a message, and then you overanalyze stuff that isn't there. I don't know.
No, and I don't think that has to be wrong either. And then he said one of the monkeys, so Apparently, there was more than one that they were using as well. I don't know if that was said for a specific reason that only one of them snapped. Like maybe this one in particular had been worked a little bit too hard.
Right.
So that definitely adds another dimension. Anything else we need to say about Steven Yeun's character in particular? Like
one other thing I did find interesting was I think so much of this movie, which we'll probably get into at some point, but like so much of this movie is about the need to like not only experience things but capture it and make money off of it and get your fame off of it. And like as he was describing this horrific, traumatic moment, he couldn't even explain it without being like, oh, you probably saw the SNL clip and this is what happened in the SNL clip.
Right.
And even then he was still very like, I don't know. I think that was foreshadowing in hindsight because he's got this other thing going on that he's, not wanting to talk about yet, but he still talked about it as like it was a huge moment in like film history or like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
Or in pop culture. And pop culture was a big deal. They tried not to talk about it, but it was a big deal,
And even when he's telling the story, like he has a flashback to like something that you would think would be super traumatic for him, but he's still, because it was such a big moment, he's reveling in it. Like
exactly. He's got this whole room where he takes people on tours to see the memorabilia and stuff.
Right. And like he has one of the things that he took from that set, I don't know how he would have gotten this as a kid and known to keep it, but the girl who was his co-star, one of her shoes gets ripped off. And
I didn't even notice that because there is a moment where it's standing still or whatever.
Yeah, the shoe's like standing in the middle of the set, like straight up. And he had it in a case in that room. I don't know what that was supposed to symbolize, if anything, but it stood out. Like he focused on that shoe when he was under the table hiding.
Oh, I went so far to my way. I forgot that you saw it in the memorabilia or like in the case or whatever until you just said that. So the whole time I was like, why is he spending 15 seconds on the shoe? Like I kept thinking like there's something, but I couldn't remember that it was in the case and everything.
So he did have that shoe there, which again, I don't know if that's just again to symbolize his seeing the spectacle of it and not the danger or the trauma that occurred there, which again leads to accepting what he's doing once you realize what he's doing. Now,
right
on the second watch, I was able to realize how deep it went because there's a scene early in the movie, not early, but pretty early in the movie where Daniel Kaluuya is out on the ranch because he realized something weird going on and he looks down in the gulch and he sees I didn't realize what he was seeing the first time, but he sees like Steven Yeun and Steven Yeun giving his little speech like every Friday at such and such o'clock. This occurs again. The first time I couldn't hear. I don't know if it was because of the twerking that was going on.
Which in all fairness, you can barely hear that in the background and everything. So I can see where you wouldn't have heard it.
But because I had seen the movie already and I'd seen him do it up close because they do show that later, I realized that's what he was doing. Like he was giving his little like every Friday, blah, blah, blah happens speech. And that again let me know. So he knows this is going on. This isn't
right.
He's been doing this. That's probably why he's buying the horses.
It took me until I got home, but I was like, that's why he's buying the horses.
Yeah. And Daniel Kaluuya, I think, realizes that too, but he doesn't say it necessarily. Looking back, he just accepted that that's what was occurring. Like something weird's going on down there with Steven Yeun, and I need to get my horses back.
Which I believe there's even a moment where he tries to buy one of them back, and maybe I misremember, but doesn't he ask about buying one of them back? Yeah, and Steven Yeun just kind of blows it off. He's like, yeah, we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, so when he drops off Lucky after the commercial shoot, he wants to talk to Steven Yeun about like setting a plan in motion to start buying his horses back, and Steven Yeun's like, yeah. Okay. So
I would love to, but
and it never gets addressed again. What was I gonna say? So one thing about me in horror movies, and I think we've talked about this before too, I hate when characters don't do things that a normal person would do in certain situations.
Right.
I think Jordan Peele did a good job of explaining all the characters' motivations without explaining their motivations.
Agreed.
And what we just talked about was Steven Yeun's character's motivation is He thinks he's special. He saw this thing happen as a child. He lived through it, and now he doesn't fear. He doesn't fear these things. Like he thinks.
I also feel like there's an extra layer to his character that we've kind of touched on, but I don't think I've said directly.
Okay.
He makes that comment about how TMZ and the news, they didn't want to show you all this, but like it happened. And I think he kind of has a moment of like, this was supposed to be my big moment and it was taken away from me. I'm making sure everyone sees this one.
Exactly. And with that, I have to ask you this. The scene where it goes wrong and Stephen Yeun and all his guests get devoured. Are we to believe that has happened before? But minus the Stephen Yeun part because
that's a good question.
In the beginning of the movie, when Daniel Kaluuya is out there with his dad and the thing spitting out keys and coins and whatnot, there were people screaming inside already. So like, where did those people come from?
So I had made that comment as well. And again, that was one of those, as you're walking out of the theater, you're talking about it with whoever you're with or whatever. I made the comment, remember earlier in the movie, so when they get eaten, you see the keys and everything falling, stuff's landing on the house. And I was like, remember that happened earlier. That's how his dad ends up dying, by getting hit with some of that debris and everything. Like that's happened before. Now it may not have been him at his ranch, but like it's been eating someone.
Exactly. It ate someone somewhere. And we're made to believe that, well, actually, you know what? It's only been there for 6 months.
Oh, true. Like, and he does make the comment, it was supposed to be 6 months after the passing.
Right.
There is an argument to be made. Maybe that's when he found out about it.
And maybe that's when it first arrived in that valley.
Yeah.
Like maybe it ate somebody from somewhere else and then it came over here.
Right.
And that's why these people aren't aware of it. Because Stephen Yeun again mentions that the first time he saw it was 6 months ago.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to touch on there. I do want to get to. Okay. Go ahead.
I will say one last thing, kind of on what you're talking about, the characters' motivations and everything, and people, doing in horror movies, like, why would you do that? I think you make a perfect point. They all do have their motivations. As for Stephen Yeun, we all obviously know his. Keke Palmer's looking for her Oprah shot, and Daniel Kaluuya just wants to keep his family farm, and they are not doing good right now. They're not getting gigs. Like, okay, if this saves the family farm, keeps us together, keeps us in our roots, like, all right, whatever we got to do. And then, of course, Angel's character is just real into this stuff and really wants to be a part of it.
Yeah. So, and then eventually when they bring the director in, he wants, we saw the footage he was working on was like predators fighting or whatever.
Right.
So like, he's curious for that aspect of it. And, he's supposed to be some legendary, like, I guess, indie director or whatever. So everybody. I have
a question about him, if you don't mind. You might can answer this for me. He has his big moment where he is filming it with him, and then he goes to like dip out. And I don't remember what he says, but he makes a comment about either we don't deserve this on camera or you don't deserve it. Or what does he say to them? And like, is he sacrificing himself or what happens there?
I think he said you don't deserve to see the perfect shot or something like that.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Something like that. Like, and like before that, he mentioned like the lighting would be great in a couple minutes or whatever. So I don't know if he wanted them to capture him being devoured, but he wanted to get the inside footage. Like as he's being sucked up, he's filming like the process or whatever. I don't know if he thought maybe the thing will spit out his camera and they'll be able to use it later. I wish we'd gotten an answer on whether that happened.
So the reason why I was so confused is I thought this was another moment of a lot throughout the movie. We talk about how Keke Palmer, their whole family, like you said, have been in the game literally longer than anyone. Right. That is their relative, and it was also their horse. People remember the horse, but people don't remember their great 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 grandfather. People, and they're still not, I feel like, treating them with the respect they deserve. I was halfway wondering if this was him like dipping out on them and being like, "Hey, I used y'all to get to this moment, but me, a white established director, I'm taking off and I'm the one that's going to get this shot." I didn't know if it was one of those things. That
was what I thought initially. But like once he gets sucked up and he's not panicking, like he's accepting it, I realized that his whole plan was to get sucked up.
That makes sense.
And I also realized the second time around, he didn't take the film that was shot. Like Angel's
Right. He just left him with that stuff, and I'm pretty sure he even told him maybe to reload it. So you're right about that.
Like Angel reloads it. They like start shooting, and then he's like, "I'm gonna take this hand crank and go over here and get this perfect shot or whatever."
Right.
Like, this what I'm about to see. Like nobody else is gonna see. Like I'm the only one that's gonna see this.
That's dedication, man.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed almost suicidal when they first talked to him, in my opinion.
True.
I forget what he said when he was talking to Keke Palmer on. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Every single time, I feel like they got like a wiretap on my house. It's like, all right, he's recording. Let me go zoom by his house real quick.
He's podcasting. Let's go.
Yeah. So, what was I saying?
He was suicidal. Kind of the first time you hear from him.
Like the first time he's talking to Keke Palmer, like he sounds like he's like over everything. And then when he shows up on the ranch, even his attitude is like, well, I guess if I'm gonna like see some crazy shit, like I might as well take advantage of this opportunity.
Right.
And I guess once he realized what was going on, he was like, you know what? This will be a legendary death. Like if I die like this. And even the him trying to get that last bit of footage as he's getting sucked up, could be him expecting that the creature's going to spit that out and they're going to have that film, get it developed. And like in his career, like imagine you're a director and it's like, this is the last footage he shot type of thing. Like the inside.
Right. You're the guy that got this shot. That's how you're like, would be known for. Your career would be like legacyzed with that forever. Yeah. Cause he mentioned to Keke Palmer, like that dream that you're chasing where you end up on the mountaintop. Like, I forget what he said. Like, I don't know if he said, is it worth it or you're never going to get there or something like that. I thought he said, yeah, it's along those lines. I don't remember if he says you're not going to get there or it doesn't last or something along those lines. Yeah. Like, and I think he's also mentioned something like for everything you do, like some stuff is going to hit, some stuff isn't. Like, even if you get that shot, like people may not appreciate it or whatever. Right. Type of thing. Like he kind of setting expectations for like, it may not be what you expect, even if you get what you think you want. Which I feel like was foreshadowing, but we could talk about that later. Right. So I'm trying to think, where should we go next from there? The motivations, you mentioned Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer, like their motivation mainly is money. Like they want money, they want fame, whatever. Or she wants fame, he wants money to keep the ranch alive. Again, typically I would judge characters in this situation, like call some people in, like get some other people, but they were concerned with it being stolen from them. Like you mentioned, the family, like she gives a little speech when she's at the commercial shoot, like everybody knows the person who filmed it, but nobody knows like our ancestor who's on this horse. Right. And that's their concern, is that if they bring other people in, the other people will take credit for it, blah, 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 blah. And even still, there's a moment where Keke Palmer's like, we can't do, like, we can't do this. Right. And Daniel Kaluuya's like, we got to get like one more shot. The other thing I want to say about Daniel Kaluuya's character, he's the one who kind of followed in his dad's footsteps as the horse trainer. And he starts to kind of pay attention to the way this thing is acting. And he questions whether or not it's a ship. And he's right. So he was by far, I think his like one just relationship with animals and everything, because like you said, he's the one that had to take that over. And I was going to mention, even like, I'm not a horse trainer, but I've lived and grown up on a farm my whole life. It's cows to horses, but like animals in general, especially those kind of animals, they do like even every now and then, it's like completely sunny outside. It's not supposed to rain. And all of a sudden it starts pouring down rain. Like there's been plenty of times in my life where I can tell like, oh, it's about to rain or something. Like they're acting weird. So like he definitely noticed that kind of stuff, and his relationship with them helped him realize, like you said, he's the one that realizes like that's not a spaceship. Exactly. And just like you said, the animals react a certain way when things happen. The beauty, one of the nice touches that Jordan Peele has in this movie is that whatever this is, whenever it comes around, electronics stop working. I made the reference before
like when I was doing screenwriting, one of the things they mentioned is like to make an effective horror movie, the first thing you have to do is come up with a reason why cell phones don't work.
Right.
Because if your cell phone's working, you can just call people, you can take a video, prove whatever's happening, blah, 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 blah. But Jordan Peele finds a way to make sure cell phones don't work in this world. And I think it was highly effective, not only for the sense that they couldn't just take a picture or video, but also it added like another element to the fear factor, because like once you notice stuff starts going off, like the creature's there or whatever is there and something's about to happen. Another way it was used effectively is like with the music, like you hear the music like slowly start to cut off. Like
I thought that was super cool.
That was definitely fun. The way they played with that. I like that a lot.
I did too. And I'm a big, I love that kind of stuff in general. Like I grew up in Texas. We grew up on like the Swisher House, like chopped and screwed era. So I'm already down for that kind of stuff to begin with. But I thought that was super cool. The way, like you're saying, it's almost like a record. And I think that also, because it was playing in a car, it wasn't from a record, but I think that also has to do with the idea of the technology and we having to get stuff. Like, I think that was used on purpose.
No, definitely. And it's funny because the song was it Sunglasses at Night?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the name of the song or not.
I don't think it is, but that's what I know it as. So,
but it was weird. It's funny because a rapper I used to listen to for a long time who's had some issues and doesn't really make music like he used to, Charles Hamilton. One of his greatest songs, in my opinion, was a song called Laffy Taffy Outro, Anti-Hater Zone. And it samples that song.
Oh, really?
And like turns it into something like very dark. And so when the music starts to slow down on that song and the way it's playing, like I could hear that song in my head. So I don't know if that added something to it for me.
Right.
Because the song, like I said, is very dark. He talks about how he was used by the music industry. And he talks about like stuff in his personal life that he'd never mentioned, like being victimized as a child by family members, if you will. He talks about like finding out his girlfriend was pregnant, like while he was going through a bunch of stuff and like feeling like he wasn't ready for that. Like just a whole lot of dark, heavy stuff. And again, it brought that song to my head when I was hearing it. And like for a second, I was like, is this that song? Like, are they going to like transition?
Oh, yeah.
Cause I almost want to play like a piece of it. Is that something I should do?
I feel like it. Yeah.
I'm gonna play a clip, just a piece of it, just to kind of get the idea.
Right. So people know what you're talking about and everything.
Moving in sewer systems of the users and the sewers. Lucid is the trip with too many pollute the rhythm within. Truth withheld. The music dwells in the fluid of the universe jail. The one that knows the universe well, but due to certain perks doesn't do it as work entails. Cause the other dudes that be working the scales can't catch up or even get a glance at us. If he does, tell a man back up. And that's what let up my wall of defense. Never be calling it quits. Regulars falling a bit. My head is embedded with lessons I taught and given. I'll be talking shit. I never learned. I shampoo, same cause, but no effect. I can't be brainwashed. I hold my chest, no regrets. Living in my armor while the haters dangle from the pendulum of karma. I try to find the darkness. Then I see the light. Then I feel the light.
I'm just gonna stop after the hook.
So.
Making bets on the prodigy. Yes, I'm a prodigy.
All right, it was about to get serious after that. So the first verse is kind of all over the place, but like the second verse, he starts getting into the details of his life. But the hook, like he talks about at night, he tries to find the darkness and then he sees the light. And one of the things he's talking about with the music industry is that they want to create a character for him to be. And he refuses to do that. Like, why can't I just be me?
Right.
And then like again, he goes through the details of all the shit that's going on in his life. He's like this stuff isn't good enough to make me an interesting artist. I gotta be this character that you want me to be. But again, like that song popped in my head as soon as I heard it and like took me to a very dark place because the first time I heard that song, he was doing like a live stream, which this was like 2011, so it wasn't that common for people to be doing that type of stuff. He was doing a live stream and playing like unreleased music, and he started playing it. And during while that song was playing, he started crying. So again, so it like took me to again a dark place, and like none of the stuff that he mentions in that song was stuff that I had heard before about him. So it was like a very, very dark thing. So that just added another layer for me. Like that song was one of the songs that was used in like some of the most intense moments of the movie.
Right. No, I thought it was definitely the use of that, which he's maybe the best at that, at the use of music and everything. So,
and I think I saw some people online that were commenting saying Jordan Peele tricked y'all with some slowed down music again, blah, 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 blah. Like saying that the movie was, and this is a person I don't think had seen the movie. They were just seeing some people like not as impressed with it. Right. Was that in the trailer at all? That song?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Was there a song that
all I remember from that was just the sound, the nope. That's all I remember from the trailer, because I think a lot of people were surprised because we kept getting mainly 90s R&B or 90s hip hop, slowed or mixed up or whatever. I got 5 on it. We had Say My Name. I think people were I remember people being like, oh, we didn't get one this time. It was just that sound, the nope. And that's all we got.
And I think that's probably intentional as well, because again, it is an effect that they used to tremendous effect, I think, in the movie. What was I going to say? I kind of wanted to wait for this, but I guess we can get into it with the big twist being, and you kind of mentioned, I think earlier, that this wasn't a ship, it was a creature.
Right. My fault. I thought you had said it already. That's my fault.
No, it's fine that you said it. I just want to get into that a little bit more deeply. That might be my favorite part of not favorite part, but favorite thing about this movie.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I thought even like when it happened, that sounds like not that big of a twist or not that big of an aha moment. Like if you were to explain that to someone, but not only did it feel very much like one at the time, the more I think back at it or look at it, I feel like that's a huge twist, a huge aha moment. I feel like it's really smart because at the end of the day, that could have easily been a ship and you get sucked up or whatever.
Right.
There's aliens on the ship, but like, no, this is a different thing. And I think for that reason, I have a little bit of a theory. Not a theory, it's just my own opinion. But I think a lot of people would probably go to compare this movie to let's say, Encounters of the Third Kind, something like that, which is Steven Spielberg. But to me, it's more like Jaws, which is also Steven Spielberg. I feel like this is much more of a creature feature now instead of like a typical alien movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that for me, and it's funny because I don't know if seeing like those first 5 seconds of the last trailer where I think it made it clear to me that this was some aliens type stuff, which I didn't want to know going in, which is why I took it out of the non-spoiler section when I mentioned it.
Right.
But the idea of, and it's actually, I think happened before I saw that, but I always think about our understanding of aliens is very simplistic. Like we want them to be humanoid. We want them to be the same size as us.
Right.
We want them to have, limbs and eyes and all that good stuff. But it's like, why would something from wherever, another galaxy, dimension, whatever you want to think about it, look like us? Like,
right. Not only does it like not have to be that, in all likelihood, it probably isn't.
Right. And it's not just looking like us, but like having ships and stuff like that. Like we make them different shapes, we make them different sizes, but at the end of the day, we're putting humanoid characteristics on these things.
Right.
And so I started watching Attack on Titan, and like with the Titans, again, that was like something I was thinking about doing, like a personal horror movie where like the aliens or whatever are gigantic, like they tower over us, like they look at us like we look at insects type of thing. And so with this movie, once it was revealed that this thing that we would have seen as a flying saucer, a ship or whatever, is actually a living creature. Again, just a nice touch, a nice element, something that you aren't expecting, even if you've seen. And that's probably why they show it in the trailer.
I think I was about to say, I think that is why they show it, because even though it's again, one of those, like, we're showing you, but we're not really showing you, but we're showing you, you know? And I think that almost makes it more effective somehow. It's not like you're just trying to get away from whatever's on, like, no, you're trying to get away from this thing. This thing is what's going to actually, like, it's not going to take you somewhere. And then, like, no, this is it. This is what you're trying to get away from.
And it's trying to eat you.
And it feels much more like a personal battle. Like I don't know what again, like a creature feature is all I can think of.
Like Anaconda or something, where like you're trying to outsmart this creature.
Right. I thought that was very effective and honestly super smart. I don't think if I were I wouldn't have thought to do that. And I don't think not that I'm a director, but I mean, I don't think even good directors would have thought that. I think they would have just made it a spaceship kind of deal.
Yeah. And I think, it's funny again, like, I always think about trying to do something different than other people have done it. And then of course, Jordan Peele went and did it already. But like, I just thought, like, it's interesting how limited people's imaginations are as far as the extraterrestrials go. And Jordan Peele just added another dimension to that with this movie. And very simple. There's only one of these things that we're dealing with. How did it get here? Are there more? Like, we don't answer any of those questions in this movie. We just deal with them in this gulch, dealing with this one being or creature. I think Daniel Kaluuya figures it out for early, but he isn't sure. So he like tests it a couple times to like confirm some of his theories. Like, one, not looking at it in the eyes. Right. Which is something I guess he's noticed with most animals, is like, if you make eye contact with them, they're gonna feel threatened. And so he doesn't look at it. It doesn't take him when he doesn't look at it. How do you feel about that? Did you feel like that was a cop out, or did you feel like that made sense?
No, I thought that was super smart. And I thought, I don't know if effective is the right word, but I thought that was really smart. I liked that. And immediately the fact that he was smart enough, again, I think it kind of goes back to being like a bigger message, but it's like, I'm just going to be smart enough to I'm not going to look it in the eye. I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to grab my phone out and try to grab a picture of it. I'm just going to like mind my own business. Hopefully if I don't mess with it, it won't mess with me. I'm not going to acknowledge it. Hopefully it doesn't acknowledge me.
Yeah. And for some reason, I've seen a bunch of videos of people interacting with animals in the wilderness, and the idea of, and like he said, all animals have rules. And like he goes over different animals, like you don't wear red around a bull, and et cetera and so forth. And we've seen the horse react to seeing its reflection, or having somebody walk up behind it, stuff like that. Again, I think it just made a lot of sense. And with his character, his personality, it makes sense that he would be chill enough to trust his instincts when dealing with a creature like that. Most people are going to panic, but he's used to being around animals. He's used to trying to read them and figure them out. And he gets to experiment a couple times with the animal. So I thought that was cool.
Agreed. And he's almost having that experience with animals. He's also been in pressure situations, because like, you know, sometimes the animal does freak out. There's a scene where the horse jumps out of the corral, takes off sprinting, and he immediately knows to let go. It's gone. You know, I'm gonna have to go get it later. Like, I think he's been in that situation. He's been under pressure situations, and he knows to just stay calm and figure it out. And I think that ends up being huge, because if not, he ends up dying. He doesn't let them know to, you know what I mean? Like, everyone ends up dying if he's not smart enough to realize, don't look at him. Yeah,
exactly. Let's see. Anything else we need to hit on that?
I did want to mention just one thing, which is kind of it's not directly correlated, but I feel like this was by far the least typical horror movie of the three. And I feel like there weren't even a ton of horror elements, but there were a couple scenes that I thought were very like, okay, Jordan Peele is in like his horror bag right now. There's a scene where they're, I think, just out at the house, and they notice the lights go on in the barn, and he goes down there, and then he cuts the lights off. They cut back on, and you're just staring at that spot, which is exactly where he's at. And then the quote unquote aliens come out. That was very like, that was like, I was a little like on my seat. I was like, oh, what is about to happen? And they start popping up out of nowhere. I thought that was a very cool little horror scene. And then later in the movie, it wasn't super scary, but you've got like the blood raining from the sky. It's all over the house. It's raining, so the blood's like smearing across the house. I thought that was very cool, like horror feel.
Yeah. So going back to the first scene you mentioned, I definitely was going to get to that. I almost forgot about it, but I remembered earlier. I wanted to make sure we mentioned it. I thought Jordan Peele manipulating us, but it was manipulation with a point, with an effect, like it was effective. So basically, Keke Palmer has stolen like the horse that's outside of Steven Yeun's like little
decoy horse. Yeah,
like he stole the little horse. They put it in a field. And these kids are Steven Yeun's kids, basically, and they dress up like aliens and come to mess with like Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer that night. But we don't know any of that stuff, right? Besides the fact that we know the horse was stolen, we don't know what's going on. So when he flicks the light off and it comes back on. This first time I didn't catch it immediately. I didn't catch it till it started moving.
Right.
Like he's looking in, like you said, the space where he just flicked the lights off. And the kid that flicked them on has a little alien suit on, is like squatting down. Like
it almost looks like it was like a barrel or something. Like, and it's kind of in the dark enough.
Right. And the only thing that was light is like the face. Like they had an all black like suit on with like a face, alien type face that kind of looked like an owl almost, if you can picture it. But again, it looked
very like Court of the Owls type of deal from Batman. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, the old comics, but it kind of looked like that.
Yeah, so I think the second time I watched it, I did pay attention to, because I wanted to see if they like the kid was legitimately there the whole time, or they did like some effect type thing. But the kid legitimately was there, squatting down initially. Again, the first time I saw it, I didn't notice the kid till he started standing up slowly. But like in the theater, you could feel people like, "What the F?
Right?
What is happening here?" And like I think he said nope immediately, like as
he did,
started popping up. And then the second one pops his head out of the side and he's like backing up or like trying to leave. And he's like, oh, wait, let me make sure I get this film. And again, normally I would be like, don't be a dumbass, like get the fuck out of there. But his whole point is like, I need this on film to get this money so I can save the ranch. So I accepted it. And then when the one pops out on the side and he punches it, like I laughed for like a second, but at the same time I was like, fuck these aliens, like get up out of here, bro. And then like you only get a couple seconds to like live in that moment before it's revealed. Like you hear it say, oh, and it's like a kid's voice.
By the way, that kid ate the hell out of that punch. Like he got up.
He did, like the punch and then falling on her head. Like he should have been pretty hurt. And actually later in the movie, you could see like a mark on the kid's eye.
I noticed that. That was good. I have beef with that scene for one reason. You go back to the people doing stuff in horror movies that they shouldn't be doing. My immediate reaction when we found out that it was kids was, now granted, they're out in Hollywood and stuff. Maybe things are a little different, but like you're going up to a ranch where a farmer lives. Like, how do you know he's not going to shoot you? That
was my thought as well. Like even the second time, because I remembered he reached for something, but I couldn't remember because in my mind I was like, is he about to pull out a gun? Like,
because like you said, he reaches, but it ends up being for his phone. But like, how do you know he's not reaching for a gun?
Exactly.
And if for no other reason, a lot of farmers in that situation would have guns if for no other reason than coyotes coming up to, know, maybe, snakes, that kind of thing.
Protecting their land. Like they're going to have something on them. They're not just trying to get caught off guard necessarily. So yeah, that was like, especially the second time around, that was my thought. Like, did he have a gun on him? But I don't think we ever see him with a weapon at all. But would they have known that is the question.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't think that, I mean, they may have still done it, kids pulling pranks.
I'm about to say, maybe, are we to assume that they were sent there by the dad, or that they're acting on?
That's a good question. Maybe that's just like team camaraderie. Hey, they stole something from us. Let's go get. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Okay, but yeah, maybe Steven Yeun would know whether or not he had a weapon. But like,
he very well might. Yeah,
he has like pitchforks and stuff like that. Probably like he had a lot of different ways he could have hurt them. Yeah, horseshoe, whatever. Like could have got bad.
He's got something.
So, and then the other thing you mentioned was when the creature apparently gets mad because it ate the decoy horse and it messed him up somehow. And it spills blood all over the house to like send a message. And then it drops the horse like on the car that Daniel Kaluuya is in. How smart are we expecting this thing to be? Like, did it intentionally drop that horse in a place where it knew it wouldn't hit Daniel Kaluuya's
I couldn't tell if it was that or it wasn't even a pissed off thing. It just reacted to it and threw it up or something. I really couldn't tell.
Okay. Because it definitely goes to the house. And I mean, we know it dropped the keys and stuff like that before. So in this instance, and second time around, I paid more. I was able to pay more attention to it. When it's above the house, like you can hear all the people inside it screaming.
Yeah.
And then you hear the crunch.
Oh, I don't know that I noticed that.
And the screaming stops.
I don't know that I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it gets over the house and the people are still in there fine. They're screaming. And then you hear and the screaming stops. And then the blood and stuff starts spilling out.
That's a good catch. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So
which makes the scene even cooler, for being honest.
Right. So it was like intense. How did you feel about the visuals of the people being sucked up into this thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. One, I don't even know how you go about tackling something like that. That's one of the harder things I think you're going to be able to film. I thought, one, do you know what the budget was for this movie? Because I knew it was going to be way more than any budget he had in the past. Do you know what it was, or do you have a guess?
I'm going to say 100 million.
It was 60, which I figured a lot of CGI, a lot of stuff like that. It was going to be tough, but I definitely don't have any complaints about it.
I'm looking now. Yep, 68 estimated. Okay, so is that the highest budget he's had?
Yeah, Get Out was only like 4, and then Us was like maybe 10, 15, 20, something like that. Of course, those were Blumhouse movies, and Blumhouse does not spend money, but
that's one of the fun things about the genre is that you don't have to spend money to make a good movie.
Right. Now with the alien creature feature, maybe you need a little more money. But
yeah, and the IMAX of it. The design of the creature, how did you feel?
I love it, especially like you go back to we just think it's a spaceship. I thought that's very smart. The only things you're adding is kind of like a mouth or a whatever. It's almost just pretty much like a big ass stingray in the sky. Like I thought it was smart, but I feel like it looks good. The way it moved looked really cool because it still moves very much like a ship would.
Right.
But it's like the more I think you think about it, and probably on a second rewatch, you'd move like, yeah, kind of like a ship, but like way smoother or something.
Yeah.
Like there's not a direct like got to stop turn kind of thing. It's just smooth. I feel like it looked really good.
Yeah, and the way it hopped, like when it was following him that one time, when it's like hopping from cloud to cloud, like I think that was when it was like really clear. It was moving like a creature, like hunting almost, like stalking its prey.
Right, you're not just like parking your car behind something. Like no, you're moving from thing to thing.
Yeah, like it was like stop and go, like hopping almost from cloud to cloud, which was interesting. Let's see. Near the end, when we're in our final battle or whatever, it expands in a weird way. What did you read that as? Because I was.
Oh yeah, okay. I was kind of just so caught up in it. I mean, I had questions, but like it does expand and turns almost into like Mewtwo from Pokemon. Yeah, I thought it was cool, but it's very hard to almost just look like clouds and stuff. Like
it looked like a big sailing ship. Like it looked like it had flaps, like a sailing
right
ship, like a big.
To me, that was the closest we get to like if you have this idea of like an alien and it being either a person or like an animal type of thing. That's the closest we get to it looking like something like that.
Yeah. Like there's no eyes or face or anything like that you could see, but it definitely does something very different with its physical makeup.
That's a very creative. Like, who else thinks to make it look like that?
Exactly. Like,
or do those things. Like,
I've never seen anything like that.
What were your thoughts on it?
So first of all, it was visually like captivating. Like I couldn't look away from it, but I was trying to understand why the thing was doing that. The best I could come up with is like trying to be intimidating. because
Yeah.
Jordan Peele wasn't, or not Jordan Peele, Daniel Kaluuya's character wasn't scared of it. Oh, OJ, I'm gonna call him OJ. That was
OJ, yeah.
and there's a one moment where he's on the commercial set and like the older white lady walks up. She's like, "Your name is OJ," and it's like, really?
And she almost like looks either kind of scared or disturbed or just turned off by it.
Yeah, she's like, OJ, really? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
clutch pearls. But
I think she did clutch her pearls. Yeah,
she might have literally clutched some pearls. But I think like because it does it when he's just out there defying it and like refusing to look at it, and it's like almost like it was presenting like a peacock or like some type of bird that like
like that's the best way to describe it for sure.
And it does like the little dance with the like green. Well, I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be, but like the green thing starts coming out and like flapping. That was my potential read on it. Is either it was presenting like trying to get his attention, or it was like trying to intimidate him by making itself bigger.
Right. I do have one more final thought for you if we're kind of at the part of final thoughts.
Okay.
I thought it was very clever that the whole time we're talking about the Oprah shot, and when I said there was the foreshadowing of being like it's not going to work the way you want it or something like that.
Right.
The way they have all these high-tech cameras, and then by the end of it there's a news crew and everyone there. The one quote unquote Oprah shot you get as if the by far the oldest technology there is of like the crank the wheel, take one picture at a time kind of deal. It's just that one still image. I thought that was really cool.
And the bigger foreshadowing there, like that's one of the early scenes in the movie. And when they first show up at this place, you see they make eye contact with the big inflatable thing. Keke Palmer's character walks over to the well and like photobombs the kids who are taking the picture in the crank well thing. And like after she does that, the guy behind her is like, "Oh, look at these gold coins!" Like, so all that stuff that like comes together at the end with her using the cutting the balloon loose so that it goes up and the thing tries to eat it. Using the photo crank thing to try to get her shot, and then like the coins all over the ground from
being able to crank it with the gold coins and everything. Yeah.
So like all that stuff came together. Like again, and when you're seeing it for the first time, it's very innocuous, but then once the end comes together, it's okay. This is what that was setting up.
I also, since we're talking about the final shot, I meant to mention this earlier, but I think there's an extra layer to Daniel Kaluuya's character. In terms of like his motivation and everything. And I think as much as it is about saving or, getting the money to save the ranch, I feel like it's saving the ranch, saving the family roots, our relationship together. Because him and Keke Palmer, she's kind of going away doing her own thing. They're not as close. And I felt like was the one, I need my Oprah shot. I need my moment. And I feel like he's like, all right, we're working together. We're doing this together. He obviously shows up on the horse to save her, or not to save her, but to get her at the end. I just felt like it was very much it's more family ties and like doing things for you and for us more so than it is like even the money for the farm.
No, definitely. And that's where we come back to them having like a great relationship, because after she defeats the thing, or like before she defeats it, she's like begging him to like forget trying to like make this work, like come, like let's leave together. And then she just like, F it, like I'll do whatever I got to do. And like after she realizes she's done, you can see the pain in her face thinking like, oh my God, like my brother died though. And then she like looks over to the other side and she like sees his silhouette like through the smoke. And it's like, oh my God, like we actually made it out of this.
Right. That's a very cool scene.
One thing I want to ask, because through two watches, I can't make sense of it. At one point when the stuff is happening in the house, when she's in the house with Angel and the blood and whatnot's being dumped on the house, she looks over at a picture of what I assume was her mom.
Okay. I also was curious about that because I don't recall the mom ever being mentioned at any point.
At all. They never mentioned the mom. They never mentioned something happening to the mom. Like no signs moment where like the the wife with the cut in there, like, and it makes me wonder why that occurred. And I'm hoping like I'll probably pay attention to some interviews and stuff like that later. Like I need answers as to why did she look at her mom in that moment? Is there something about the mom that maybe they filmed and then took out? Or
maybe so. I wasn't sure if that was I don't know, maybe being like, this will sound wild, like sexist, but being the woman of the house, holding the house down. I don't know if it was something like that because she's in the house. I can't leave. We gotta, I've thought about that because again, I assume because I unfortunately drink way too much liquid of any kind, so I'm the guy that has to get up, go to the restroom at least once during a movie. I feel like I've mastered that. I never miss anything. I'm really good at it, but I would like halfway was like, dude, they must have mentioned her when I went to the restroom or something. Like I must have missed something.
No, they definitely never mention. We just get that moment with her looking at the picture. And again, they go out of their way to make sure you see her looking at the picture, see what she's looking at. But again, and it looks like the mom's picture is maybe looking at her. And like you said, maybe it's like a hold down the house. Like
just like being strong for your family, holding that. I really don't know.
Okay. So we haven't talked about Angel much. We got to talk about Angel. Let me see if I can pull up.
Which I liked his character. I thought he, one thing with Jordan Peele and Keke Palmer, like, you don't have to worry about the comedic effect they're going to hit, but I thought he did a great job working the comedy into this movie. And Angel's character, whether directly or indirectly, provides a decent amount of that as well, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's Brandon Perea. He played French in the OA, which is a show that was on Netflix that people really liked and got canceled. It was kind of a supernatural thing as well. I hadn't seen him actually since then. I haven't seen him in anything else besides that. But his character, like you said, it adds some comic relief, but he also adds some like serious elements to it. He kind of expands their world a little bit.
Right.
Like him coming in gives them a place to go when they're trying to figure stuff out. They go to his place. The electronic store where he works at one point, they use that for another jump scare moment where like the lights go out inside the place and you're thinking, is the alien here type of thing. His like boss is walking out looking kind of weird, and then like the chick creeps up on him from behind, and again, it's not a cheap one because we're shown that it's a coworker first, and then she says something and scares him. Which maybe you get a jump out of that, but for us, I thought it was more funny that like he was nervous, basically.
Which and she makes a comment. I didn't put this together myself. I read an article that mentioned it, but talking about again, just like wanting to capture things, viewing things, not even through reality, but more so because like again, Stephen Yeun describes the situation from the SNL scene rather than just describing it. And she is sitting there with a bag of chips in her hand, eating like chips, and she goes, what happened to OJ? Or did OJ make it? Or is OJ okay? Whatever she says, it's almost like she's, getting entertainment from this, watching something.
Because he's on the phone with Keke Palmer, I believe, because he noticed something was occurring and like they're describing and talking to each other. And I guess he says OJ's name, and like the chick is still around in the background, like listening. And yeah, she just pops in with is OJ okay?
Yeah.
Like she has like no emotion the whole time. But
also, we mentioned horror elements. That scene was really good where the cameras are being blocked and then there's the praying mantis on that camera and you can't really see what's going on. Like that was a good scene.
And again, it gives you something to potentially read into because like the praying mantis is there perfectly right before the creature comes out. And then as soon as it leaves, the praying mantis is gone. And I was like, is the praying mantis an alien? Like, is it working in concert with?
Yeah, I was about to say, does it end up looking kind of like that in the final scene, but not really?
Yeah,
or not. It maybe, but not really.
I could see because I was gonna say it did look like a flying insect, and I know praying mantises look weird when they're flying.
Right. I don't know. Maybe that.
It was funny because they mentioned like you barely see these around anymore, and it like makes you wonder if they are trying to say something there with the praying mantis.
I googled praying mantis. Nope, just seeing if something popped up, and like you have to like scroll a little bit before you even get there.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's actually
nothing deep there. Just another like misleading situation.
Well, actually, okay. I'm on Looper, and they're trying to break it down. It says, it's 2 paragraphs, but at the end it says maybe just maybe there's more than this praying mantis that meets the eye. Who's to say that a giant alien monster couldn't leverage some kind of control over Earth's weaker species? So no, I don't think so.
Okay, so they're just theorizing.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. There's a bunch of articles of people trying to ask if praying mantises are aliens, but it has nothing to do with the movie.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, like there's different versions of praying mantises, and some of them kind of do look like that thing at the end of the movie, like the leaf praying mantis. There's a ghost praying mantis, a banded flower praying mantis, a devil's flower, and an Indian stick. You can't see this. I'm probably just send it to you.
Actually, I can see it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, but like you see the white one on the middle finger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can see that being something like what we see at the end.
Maybe.
We'll have to see if they say anything later about it. But again, I think the fact that we're even talking about these different things just shows like the amount of detail that Jordan Peele puts in his movies. Even if it's not necessarily meant to be something, it at least made you think that maybe it could be something in the moment. Right. And that's again part of the manipulation that you have to do.
100%. Like what other, I mean, there might be some, but like how many other directors do you do that kind of thing with? You know, maybe I think of movies like Hereditary or Midsommar, where you do go back with every rewatch and you're like, oh, I wonder if this actually, but like for the most part, you're not doing that with movies. You're not looking at every single thing.
Exactly. Like there might be one thing that ties back to something at the end. Like I'm thinking about Men now. There might be something that ties something together, but like the small details here and there are where Jordan Peele, I think, excels at just making you think. Like I think about Get Out, and again, like every single scene, there's not like some type of wasted. There's some type of symbolism in every single scene. When the dad's giving the tour of the house, like single thing he says has two meanings at least.
Even little stuff with like when they get pulled over, her not letting Chris show his ID, which you think is her it's they can't have a paper trail. Like everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So every detail matters. I think he's great at that. I'm very again, I don't need this to be a 5 for me to say that Jordan Peele's a guy that I'm always going to check for.
Agreed.
Like I think
I feel like it would have been really easy for him to be in a situation. This is a really bad comparison, and bear with me. I apologize, but I felt like with this, a few months back, everyone had been waiting for the Jack Harlow album, and I feel like people thought of that as like this is his moment to really kind of solidify himself. He dropped the ball. We don't really know if we think of him that way anymore. One, Jordan Peele was much higher. That's not the same thing. Right. And Nope is a lot better than the Jack Harlow album. But even though it wasn't another Get Out or another Us necessarily, it doesn't hurt his legacy at all. It doesn't change the way I feel about him. He's still very much my favorite director, or one of my favorite directors. Still someone I'm going to see no matter what. I mean, he can make a random comedy drama. Or so like I'm going to go, whatever it is, I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah, and you're gonna expect certain things. And again, even if he never hits a Get Out ever again, you can't take that from him. And the other things he's done, whether or not it has that big feeling when you're walking out of the theater, like during the process of it, you felt things. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you were thinking throughout the course of the movie. Like there's at no point during this movie or Us where I checked out of the movie. Like at all times, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And that's a good movie to me. Like, I don't know. Again, I wasn't a huge lover of Us after I walked out, but I enjoyed, like, there was some scary shit going on and I didn't know what was happening. There was a nice little twist. Like, he gave us stuff throughout the movie. Like, it's not like he's phoning it in with these movies. He just happened to drop one of the greatest movies of all time on the first thing out of the gate. So
I will say, maybe I'd mentioned the acting as one of my favorite things and the pacing. I also have to include, you've kind of touched on this earlier, but sometimes with music, with rappers, we talk about there were no wasted bars. Right. I feel like there wasn't a wasted bar. There's not any of the dialogue, any of the scene, like everything either progresses the story or is foreshadowing or is a callback, or like there's not any wasted anything.
Exactly. And like, even like you said, we did touch on it. Like, even when Angel like shows up on the scene initially, he seems like an asshole. Because like he's telling them, oh, you're not going to be able to set up this camera stuff. It's like, why is he saying that? Like, what is he assuming about them? Because they're from the country. Like, what is going on out here? But then when he shows up at the ranch to actually set the stuff up, he like apologizes, like, hey, my girl just left me. And then he like goes into talking about, how she got a CW pilot through and like look out for her, like she's gonna be on like what's going on? Like you realize his character a little bit as not being necessarily that serious. Like he's more being an asshole is kind of like him putting his defenses up.
Right. But, I thought that was a really funny line, by the way. Like he mentions multiple times. I think after he says it, he says like FNCW or something like that. Like
yeah.
And also Fry's Electronics, like random callbacks to actual things. I think that's funny.
And I think, you have to imagine Jordan Peele is going to do stuff like that intentionally too.
Right.
I was trying to think, like, he mentioned the girlfriend thing and they didn't care at all. But then he like walks up to OJ and is like showing him the pic, like that's her. Like, bro, I don't care about your ex, bro. Like,
right.
Just want my cameras up, man. I got bigger things going on here.
Right.
But again, him sticking around was cool. I enjoyed his addition to it. Again, it added another personality to deal with in the situation. I saw a lot of praise for Keke Palmer in this. How do you feel overall? Like, would you put her in an awards situation?
Okay, so I have seen people, and again, it's Twitter. Twitter is whatever, but right. I mean, it's both of like you and I's favorite place on earth, but like we also take it for what it is, I thought that was a little. I probably don't see her getting a Best Actress nominee or Best Supporting. I don't know what it would be, but she was great.
Yeah, like I had fun with her, but
all I know is if Toni Collette didn't get nominated for Hereditary, I have a hard time believing Keke Palmer is getting nominated for Nope. Yeah, but then again, horror just doesn't get that kind of love. So
right, I think she might get like some smaller stuff, like the more genre specific.
Right, and I would ride for that for sure.
Yeah, like the Academy type stuff. I can't see it. I can't see anybody in this movie getting any type of Academy.
No, I don't think so either. Not even Daniel Kaluuya, and he's by far your best just chance in terms of he's gotten that kind of love before. Right. They're looking out for him, and even I don't think is getting any nominations or anything.
And again, that doesn't take away from the movie at all. It's just not one of those movies that's giving them these big grand moments of acting chops. It's more about the story itself. So overall, would you say? How do you feel about the story? How do you feel about how it played out? Is there anything by the end that you still need like answers for in the grand scheme?
Maybe the whole I can't remember the name. Gordy? Was it Gordy?
Is that the director?
The monkey.
Oh yeah, Gordy, yeah.
We've talked out what we think it may have meant, or I still think there's going to be a lot of people who are like, what the hell is that? And maybe I'm still kind of one of them, but I don't by any means wish it wouldn't have been included.
Yeah, the Gordy of it, the mom, I think, is another thing that I kind of want some answers on. It slightly annoyed me that we don't get confirmation of whether or not they were able to save the farm.
Fair.
Like, because she doesn't grab the picture immediately to make me feel like she has it. We don't know if they have the like footage. Like, they don't confirm the footage.
True.
I think Angel wrapped himself in barbed wire at the end when he's about to get eaten.
That was wild smart though, because he knew it was going to end up acting as a flag. Like the second he started doing that, I was like, this is genius what he's about to do. And it ends up saving his ass. That was very smart.
And then the second time I watched it, I made note of like when he's about to get sucked up. And I think when Jordan Peele first got approached, they were both beside one of the flapping things and it had like a face on it with eyes. And that's what the thing saw, like looking at it. Like, even though
I was a little confused because you're right about the eyes. Was it as Daniel Kaluuya goes out of his way to put on the hoodie, put the hood on, and the hood has these two white dots on the back of it. And I was like, is he going out of his way to be a sacrifice that ends up getting sucked up? But at the same time, he makes sure he has his head down. I'm like, this is kind of contradictory.
The second time I watched it, I was looking out for that, and I was thinking that's what he was doing, and I was waiting for him. Oh no, actually, I did get the confirmation. Now that I think about it, he does that to lure it up to him, and then remember he drops the like parachute behind him with the like flags.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you're right.
Get close.
Yeah,
because I thought he was looking at him, and then he like throws the flag that he knows it doesn't like now, to like get it to stop.
You're right. You're right.
And I think that was like right, and then it like turns on its side, and you get that one grand shot of it, like
that was dope.
Which again, I wish we were able to see what was shot after the fact to like confirm that they at least had the footage. Like it would have been dope to have like a ending montage of like them on TV, like on Oprah or some shit. Like,
see, that was I actually halfway thought I'm the guy that I Googled to see if there's anything after the credit. I know everything's not a Marvel movie, but more and more movies are doing that.
Okay,
because the movie opens before you see anything. You're still seeing monkey paw and stuff. You hear stuff in the background.
Right.
You hear what sounds like a TV broadcast or something. I kind of thought there would be this end credit where they are on Oprah. They got the Oprah shot there, and we looked. It said there wasn't, so we left the theater. There's not an end credit or anything, is there?
Not that I didn't stick around either.
Okay, that would have been cool to have had them on Oprah, and I feel like Jordan Peele can get Oprah. I feel like he can. So
exactly, and I'm thinking about it now. If we get that, that might bump the movie up for me.
I think so too. I think that would have been. I think that gets it to an 8 for me. Or maybe even 8.5.
I'm trying to think. I feel like now that I'm looking through all three of the movies, all of them kind of end on that almost incomplete note.
Right.
And going back to Get Out, I think it ends with them riding off in the car, right?
Mm-hmm. You think it's the cops. It ends up being
me and his friend.
Yeah.
TSA.
Which they have the actual ending, not the actual ending, the original ending.
The alternate ending, which was an additional scene after that last scene, which again would have been a cop.
Right.
Originally.
Which apparently that's how they originally aired it, like when they first started testing it. That was the ending they used.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad they changed that ending.
I am too. That completely changes the movie.
Because 100%.
Now I'm cool. I've been able to watch it. I'm cool. They have it on the DVD, and like I like it as a bonus scene.
Exactly.
But, Get Out's actually really bad about. There are a number of bonus scenes that actually, if they would have been left in the movie, shed light on certain things. Go check out some of the bonus scenes. I'm not sure if I haven't watched all of that, but
I have DVDs and all kinds of shit. I got like a screenplay book actually for Get Out, so I might.
Oh, no way.
Do that. Yeah, it was.
How you? Okay, I'll ask you after. I have questions for you after the pod, but
okay, but yeah. So I'm wondering if, because again, he took out the alternate ending, or he took out the other ending, which again had the additional scene after the fact that lets you know what's happening after the fact. And I'm wondering if the success of that made him not put a real ending in his movies going forward, because Us ends with, the car riding off. And
it's a little ambiguous, but
yeah, it kind of gives you a hint that maybe there was some switching of places that goes on, but it ends there.
You're right. We don't know that for a fact.
And then in this movie, it ends with us realizing they survived, but did they accomplish what they were set out to accomplish? We don't know.
Right. Yeah, I would love to go back. Like once this gets released on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, I would love to be able to go back and watch and see if they have, bonus scenes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
deleted scenes, bonus, whatever.
I would too. And again, I think if you get that scene with them on Oprah, it bumps the movie up a notch for me.
I think so too. Like we said, we agreed that he made the right call with Get Out. I feel like I would have much rather had that. Would have just been such a cool moment. You're talking about the Oprah shot this whole movie. Oh, they got it. They are on Oprah. Here's Oprah. Like that. Maybe we're being unrealistic, but I feel like that'd have been really cool.
No, definitely. And even if it wasn't Oprah, like
even if it's not Oprah, just some television show or whatever. Yeah.
Right. They could have got, I was going to say Ellen, but I guess she's over, isn't she?
I was going to say get like Gayle King or something.
Okay. Even that will work too. But like,
she's Oprah's best friend. Hey,
it would have been nice, because I think what they did is they sucked us into their story and made us care about them and their goals. And so it would have been nice to see more than them just surviving. Like I wanted to see that they accomplished their goals.
And you might not even have to show it. It could be one of those, like you just kind of hear them talking in the background. Maybe you kind of see that as the screen's fading or something. You just see they're on a set of a television show. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even if it's like a montage of like, them on a news,
just them on different sets and stuff.
Them like sitting somewhere on a stage and like,
right.
We're bringing out OJ and such and such, like that type of thing. Like as the credits are rolling, even like that works for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, definitely something to look for with the DVD or what have you. Man, is there anything we have not hit?
Not that I can think of. I think we, as always, we went for like 2 hours because that's what we do. I feel like we touched on all of it.
Yeah, and again, I have to edit the stuff I said in the beginning. I might even like clip it and put it at the end.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
That's what I'll do. I'll cut. There's some stuff I said in the non-spoiler section that I've cut out, and I'm gonna put that at the end so you can listen to what I said there when I was tripping. But overall, I think I am still in that 3.5, 4 range. We'll see where it comes out. I usually give it a week or two before I put it on my list officially. There's still some other stuff I need to put on my list, and eventually, I think I want to get to at least 25 movies before I put out the list on my site. Nice. I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm in the low 20s, but we're getting there. Anything on the horizon that you're looking for movie wise?
I'm trying to think. Obviously we do have Halloween Ends coming up, and I have to see that. My favorite movie of all time is Halloween, even though the franchise itself is. You still haven't seen it?
Not a single Halloween movie.
So yeah, we're gonna do that at some point. We're gonna make you rewatch these movies, and yeah, Halloween's one of them, right?
Yeah, like. Now, is it actually ending, or
for now?
Okay,
I actually think so, but then again, you know, we've done this. It's not a matter of we've done it before. I believe we've done it multiple times before, so we'll see.
A ton of times, yes.
We'll see. I would think you do for sure end it this time in Laurie Strode's character, and let's get out of here. But who knows?
Okay, but yeah, there's a lot of movies I need to go back and watch, and again, my time is opening up a little bit, so definitely something I can do.
What you got on the horizon? Things you're excited for? I know I'm leaving out some stuff.
The Gray Man apparently is on Netflix currently.
Yeah, already. Someone shout out to the homie Bryson. I know he's y'all talk on Twitter. He's a fan of yours and everything. I think he had mentioned it to me earlier today in a group chat or something that it was good. Okay,
so I definitely got to watch that. Reese begged me to watch Attack on Titan. So I put it off, and then I started it last week, and I'm 6 episodes from the end now. It's I don't know how I did that in a week, but here we are. It's 80 episodes or something crazy.
I've got one for you.
Go ahead.
So I know at one time you were using my Shudder. I don't know if you still use it or not, or if you use any Shudder.
I still have it, yeah.
Did you ever watch a movie called Scare Package on Shudder? That's probably last year, maybe.
No.
So there's a Scare Package 2. That's a really good anthology. They're making a second one. Yeah.
Oh, it's an anthology.
It's coming out soon. It's kind of the first one's kind of like an anthology horror comedy, I guess is how I'd call it. It's really good though. And then also, do you remember the movie Host? I think that's why I gave you my Shudder to begin with.
Yes.
There is not a sequel per se, but the same director has made a new movie that is shot in a very similar way. And I believe it's coming. So it did the festival circuit, I believe, last year.
Okay.
And I think it's called Dashcam. I have it pulled up right here. I think it is available already. So we need to check. Oh, never mind.
What happened?
Awful ratings. Never mind. We were all very excited for that, but it's got awful reviews. So never mind. I'm not excited for that one, I guess.
All right,
I will watch it though. Host is one of my favorite movies of the last 3 to 5 years. So
yeah, I did make a note for Scare Package to check that out. So that should be interesting. I think Severance is a show that I've heard a lot about. I watched the pilot. I wasn't sure where it was going for a while, but then by the end, it kind of I could see where this is interesting.
I missed out on Severance. So I need to go back and watch that. And I'm finally going to get on The Boys with everyone else. So
I think Reese just started that last week, and he's already almost done. It's only 8 episodes a season. So
yeah, I saw him starting that kind of inspired me to go ahead and start it as well.
But he said he's going to watch it because I'm watching Attack on Titan. And
gotcha.
We both binged both shows, so that should be fun. We'll probably talk about that on the next pod. But yeah, I usually don't look months ahead. So that's why The Gray Man's the only thing I see. I think Vengeance is a movie coming out next week, and then a movie called Not Okay on Hulu. And I have no idea what either one is about off the top of my head. So we'll see what happens there. But definitely, again, as always, if something's on the horizon you definitely want to get together and talk about, let me know.
Oh, one last one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know that it's horror necessarily, but we got the new Florence Pugh. We all know even if you don't know me, you know that I ride for her. I don't ride for white women like that, but if I ride for one, it's her or Anya Taylor-Joy, who just got married. But yeah, she got what is it called? Don't worry, darling. That's coming out soon. Very, very excited for that one.
Yep, and Anya Taylor-Joy has a movie too, doesn't she? I'm pretty sure I saw both of them in trailers the other day.
Oh, really? Then I've got 2 to look forward to.
Let me see what her
got both of my girls.
2022. Let's see. The Menu. Yes, The Menu comes out in November. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises.
Okay,
it's a horror
I'm here
comedy.
for that. I'm definitely here for that then.
Just like, again, I wasn't trying to pay attention to the trailer, but like just the pieces I could hear, it definitely sounds like one of those ones that's going to be really fun.
Cool.
I think Bodies is the other movie that.
Yep, that's another one for sure. Also, A24, as you brought to my attention, bringing a ton of movies to HBO, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, there's probably some stuff that I skipped that I'll probably watch once it gets to HBO. So.
Yeah, hit me up when you see all those, any of that you haven't seen. I probably have, and yeah, we can talk about some of those.
Okay, sounds good,
dude. As always, thanks for having me on, man. You know, that's always I always make you come talk Mavs with me, so it's always cool to get to do stuff with you. But I always love to do it and have a blast, man.
Most definitely, definitely. I think we went as far as we could with this movie. I think we touched on everything.
We always do.
I had a lot of fun with the conversation. I'll try to get this edited and up before I go off the grid here in a couple of days. But Tyler, as always, a pleasure. If you're listening, thank you for tapping in, and we'll catch you next time. I will say the closest comparison I can think of for this type of movie is maybe Arrival, but like not like a direct correlation, but like a alien movie that keeps it kind of contained. It's like a little bit of a smaller scale, and it doesn't give you the stereotypical experience that you're expecting.